paper before we get going here. So for this one, I'm going to use Seaside Summer from Doodlebug, and this one actually came out last summer, and Doodlebug doesn't tend to release a whole bunch of lines, like a whole bunch of summer lines every year and a whole bunch of spring and a whole bunch of fall and Christmas and everything else. Every year they will do a Christmas line and a Halloween line. Other than that, the ones that are kind of seasonal, like the summer, will be available for 2 or 3 years before they come out with a new summer one that will replace this one, which is nice. Like, if you're just now discovering this paper, you can still get it, okay? So that's, one of the things I like about Doodlebug. So let's just take a look at the paper. So in the paper pack itself, you're going to have the this and that sticker sheet. So you've got, and literally all of the Doodlebug this and that sticker sheets are going to be this exact same format. You're going to have the scalloped round, the regular round, the little kind of, I don't know what you even call that shape. I've seen it like a badge or I don't know. So you've got, and you're going to have all the little words, and you're going to have some little banners and some speech bubbles and things, and then some other little pieces and parts and some tabs, and then border strips, which is nice because, when you're working with it, you kind of know what you're going to get. Like, they're going to look different, but okay, well, I'm always going to have this element, or I'm always going to have this element. So one of those things that I honestly am kind of fond of. So for the paper itself, we've got one of their collage sheets here, which I love these. These are always fun. And on the back side, we've got little starfish. And we've got a wave print and the little crabs and the seagulls on the back with some shells and some coral. Really pretty flower print here with leaves on the back. Some flamingos that are adorable. And then another flower on the back of that one. And this one, and that's another thing. Like, you could literally take that paper, and either side of this one, and you would not have to have any of those little cute creatures or anything like that. You would just have, just good prints that you could use. Same thing with the plaid. I always love their plaids. Backside, we've got the little sunshines. We've got the cut-apart sheet, and this is a style of cut-apart sheet they used to do years ago and had stopped, and then they brought it back. And it's a good one because you've got a bunch of sentiments in a couple of different sizes down this side, and then you've got all these little 4x4s. And they're just fun. Like, come on, how cute is that flamingo? On the back side, we've got palm trees. We've got a really good polka dot here with the border strips, which is another one of the pages that they always do that I absolutely adore. I have known to put, design elements in a project just to use the border strips because they're just fun. I love them. So there's border strips. We've got this cute one with the little sea creatures. So, you've got a dolphin and a shark and a whale and a turtle and a little jellyfish and some other little fish and a squid. And they're just adorable and I love them. And then on the back side, this is another kind of thing they've been doing. Not every line, but a lot of lines where they do that rainbow print with all the different words and phrases and stuff. And these are just a fun one, especially if you're doing cards with leftover paper. This sheet is awesome for that. Okay, we've got little sailboats here with a nice summer color stripe on the back. We've got some flowers again and another sheet of cut-aparts. This time they're 3x4, and they are both the landscape and the portrait orientation, which is nice. So that's always a good one. We've got this one with the little beach, waterway stuff that kind of repeats, but you could take a section of this and use it on something. And then another good stripe there. Cute little seashells here. Let me pick this up. And then their little list pieces on the back of this one. This project, I don't know that I need the lists necessarily, so I don't think I'm going to end up using the list side. I think I'll just use that side. And then, of course, there's always the matching petite prints, which I cannot find my petite print pack that went with this one. And then they'll have two like the matching solid papers, which I'll end up using a couple of these for photo mats as I get to decorating, but that's the paper we're going to be using. So let's get into the project. Okay, so we're going to start with the spines. So when the video gets to the part where I'm actually putting them together, you're going to see that the spines were wider. That was because the sizing was wrong. So when I'm assembling the cover pieces and the spine and all that and talking about how we're laying this out, ignore the measurements that are on there. These are the correct measurements. So we have one spine piece that is 9 by 1 3/4. We are going to wrap that with cardstock that is 11 by 4 3/4. As soon as I find my little piece to get my tape off. Okay, so entire back's covered with tape. And we're going to put that down. Our other piece is going to be 9 by 1 3/8. Okay, and again, so the cardstock is going to be 11 by 4 3/8. I've got this one mostly covered just because I wasn't going to add a little strip on here because the way this is going to go together, ultimately it's not going to matter. Okay. And then we are going to bend the cardstock around the spine. And then we're going to miter. All right, so after I've done that first cut, this is what we look like. I'll come in here and do the second. Okay, then I'm going to take my score tape, get my ends. Glue along the edge of the chipboard in the middle. Use our bone folder to push up and then over and down. Same thing on the other end. And then we're going to flip it over and we're going to burnish along the edge of the chipboard just to work that cardstock down over the edge. Okay, like so. I'm going to go ahead and wrap the other one and then we'll assemble the base. So our other pieces, these I just did 11 by 11 on all of them just to make it easier on myself, which is exactly what I should have done on this. I should have just done it 11 by 5 and I didn't, but that's okay. Okay, so 1-inch spacers on both sides on this one. And again, these are covered in tape. Okay, there's one. And again, these are 11 by 11. If I can get the backing up, I apparently did not burnish my tape down very well, but that's okay. It happens. It's not the end of the world. Okay, last piece. Okay. For the cover pieces, we're going to start out the same way. We're going to fold this over, burnish it down. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing with mitering. And if you want to do it, you know, if you've watched older videos of mine where I would just like cut here and then, you know, kind of adjust the mitering, you can absolutely do it that way. I don't remember when I started doing it this other way, but it's just, you know, fewer cuts you have to make to get the same result. So. All right, so this one we are going to wrap all 4 of these sides around. So again, I'm going to come in with the 1/4 inch score tape. Okay. And then I'm going to take the backing off. You can do one side at a time. I just, well, because I've done so many of these, I do it all at once. And then we'll go around and put my pieces down. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go along the edge of the chipboard with the glue, a little bit in that middle section there, and burnish it up and then over and down. Okay. Again. Up and over and down. Okay. You're going to do that exact thing to these 2 pieces as well. So, okay, so when we're putting this together, for your 3 big pieces, you're going to have a left piece and a center piece that are both 9 by 9. You're going to have a right piece that is 9 by 8 7/8. Okay, that much from the beginning was correct. The spines, the left spine is going to be 9 by 1 3/4. The right spine is 9 by 1 3/8. Okay. On both of those, oh, I'm sorry, on one of those, I've got score tape along the edges. Let me do it on the other one really quickly. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my center piece. Okay. And let's go ahead and do the left side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scoreboard, I'm going to lay my spine piece down in here with it all the way down on the side there. Where did my thing go? I'm going to get the tape backing off one side, and then I'm going to get glue in there. Okay, so I'm going to use the scoreboard to get this all nice and straight. And we'll go ahead and drop that down and burnish it down. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it the other direction and get the other side. That's where this particular scoreboard is nice instead of the Score Pal, because it is open on the end and it makes it really easy when you're trying to line something like this up. And there we go. All right, so let's make sure our right spine's on the right, our left spine's on the left. Flip this over again, and now we're going to do this piece, okay? So left, left. And if you try to do this where the only turning you're doing is like this as opposed to rotating, you'll be just fine. Okay, so I'm going to do this slightly different. I'm going to get this butted up in this corner and then just kind of slide this underneath and put it down, and there we go. Now I'm going to do the same thing on this other end. Try not to bump things and accidentally stop recording, because that's usually how it happens. So let me move the mouse and the keyboard. So it would not be the first time that that exact thing has happened. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to go ahead and get the backing off of the tape again. And if you want to do this just flat and not do it with the scoreboard, actually I'm going to show you that because that will be easy. Okay, so I'm going to get the backing off the tape. I'm going to get my glue down in here. Take my other cover piece, making sure the 8 7/8 is going across the bottom so that the height is the same. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my finger here with my nail, and I'm going to guide this to the side until I feel it drop off the edge of that chipboard spine and drop it down. Okay. Now we can flip it back over. Got left, left, center, right, right. We're good. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is do our reinforcement pieces. So I have two pieces that are 8 7/8 by 6, covered entirely with tape on the back. This is the step that you do want to use tape, even if you have used exclusively glue for the rest of this. This is the step where you do want to use tape because it's not going to bubble. It's going to lay completely flat. And you don't have to worry about, you know, did it adhere everywhere under there, because it's all tape. It will. And, you know, if you were worried about it coming apart later, it's not going to matter because there's going to be other things on here that are holding it. So it's, you know, I've not had an issue with with the books done this style with the lay flat method. I've not had an issue with them at all. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to kind of burnish into that crease, fold it up, and then I like to pinch it to set it in place to make sure everything kind of pops in where it needs to. Okay. You don't have to do that. I've just found that that makes it get the crease right exactly where you want, and it just seems to work really well. But that's just my trick that I use. Okay, and the same thing on this side. So again, we're going to pop that in, and this will fit in here perfectly. It's not going to cause this to push out. That's why it's smaller. We've got a little bit of a gap here because there's a waterfall that's going to go on this, like right here. So this will be able to close up and the waterfall is not going to cause it to pop up. And then we'll get our inside stuff done as well. Okay, so let me set this aside for right now and we can go through some of our interior pieces. Okay, so we are going to score everything first, and then we'll go back and do assembly because there's a couple of pieces where we need to mat before we put something down. So first thing is our waterfall. We are doing 5. It would help if my little sticky note was right side up, wouldn't it? 5 pieces, 5.5 by 7. And I have scored these already just because I was getting it all prepped last night, which is how I figured out that my spine was too wide and I had to redo that part. But that's okay, it happens. So with the 5.5 at the top of the scoreboard, you're going to score it 1/2 inch. If you're new here and you have not seen me use the scoreboard sideways, that's because I have a very hard time getting it straight when I'm having to reach across and do it this way. And I know that's how typically most people use their scoreboard. I guess the alternative would be to use it upside down, just like I do my trimmer, where you would again be doing this. But for me, doing it sideways feels like I'm drawing a line. So like, you know, you would be writing, it just feels like I'm drawing a line. So in case you're wondering, because I get asked that. Okay, so 5.5 at the top, score it 1/2 inch on all 5 pieces, and then we're going to set these aside. But I am going to put a paper clip on them because I didn't paper clip anything last night, which is not normal for me. I don't know. I found these super cute cupcake clips when I was cleaning my craft room last week. So, okay, so next up, we are going to do a box pocket. So we have a flap that is 8 7/8 by 6. That's the one we're going to start with. So with the 6 inches at the top, you're going to score it 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. So this is going to be a chunky pocket, okay, a chunky box pocket. Okay, so there's that one, and then we're going to miter. I didn't score all the way down that line last night. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and miter that. Okay, the pocket base itself is going to be 11 3/8 by 8 1/4. Okay, I'm going to start with the 11 3/8 at the top. We're going to score it 1/2 inch and 1 1/4. We're going to turn to the 8 1/4 side, and again 1/2 inch, 1 1/4. Turn it again, 1/2 inch, 1 1/4. Okay, this one we're going to miter from that 1/2 inch line out on the top. And down here on the bottom, you'll see we've got all of these lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. Okay, so we've got this 1/2 inch line along the bottom. I'm going to miter in there and in there. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it sideways and I'm going to cut along the score line here and along the score line here. We need to take a tiny bit extra off the edge of that, just depending on how evenly you cut along your score line. Mine was just slightly off, but that's okay. Okay, so now you have that little flap. You're going to cut there, and then you're going to miter I can see what I'm doing here, like so. Okay, so let's do this again on the other side. We've already cut our little miter here. We're going to cut along. Okay, so we've got the score line. I'm going to cut to the left of the score line. Okay, and when I say to the left, I'm talking like along the left edge. Okay, and then I'm going to cut along the left edge again to where we mitered. I'm going to cut along the 1/2 inch just to make that tab smaller, and then I'm going to miter just a tiny bit from that 1/2 inch out there. Okay, that's our box pocket. I'm going to flip that and set that aside. I'm actually going to put my sticky on it so I know what it is. Not that that one's not going to be easy to identify, but you know. All right, so first flap is going to be an acetate pocket. So our acetate is 8 3/4 by 8 7/8. I'm just going to set that to the side. Our base is 8 7/8 by 10. Okay, we're going to put the 10" at the top of the scoreboard, score it 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Okay, so this is the base we're building the pocket on. Okay, the frame piece is going to be 9 7/8 by 9 1/2, and we're going to start on the 9 7/8 side, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn it, and then 1/2 inch again. Oh, we forgot to miter this one. Okay, so for the base, you're going to miter just there at the top. On the pocket, you're going to miter at the top. And then right here where these score lines intersect, okay, you can see it better actually on that side, we're going to cut straight across, okay, like that. Set that one aside. And then you've got an insert for that that is 8 3/4 by 9. We don't need to do any scoring on that. We're just going to set that one aside. Okay. And again, I don't want to put the paper clip directly on that acetate. I'm going to clip all of those together too. Okay. The next page, we've got an insert that is 8 by 12. You're going to score that at 6 inches to make the insert. Okay. We've got a belly band that is 10 by 2. So with the 10 inches at the top, we're going to score it 1/2 inch, turn it, and 1/2 inch again, and miter. The base for this one is going to be 9 by 9 3/4. With the 9 3/4 at the top of the scoreboard, you're going to score it 1/2 inch, and that's 7/8 of an inch. Okay, and then miter. Okay. Okay, that one's there. Next we have a pocket flap. So we have a piece that is 9 by 3. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch on each end. So 1/2 inch, turn it all the way around, 1/2 inch again. And then the flap base itself is 8 3/4 by 4. So with the 8 3/4 at the top, you're going to score it 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so those two go together. And then we've got another flap. The base is 7 5/8 by 8. With the 7 5/8 at the top, we're going to score it 1/2 inch and 5/8 of an inch. Did we miter on that one? We did not. Okay, I'll miter it later. It's fine. So we're going to miter the flap. The pocket, you're going to take a 6 by 6 square, and you're going to score this at 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn, 1/2 inch, turn. Okay. This one, I am going to take my trimmer, wherever it has disappeared to. You're going to line this up diagonally so we get the corners lined up like so. And then we're going to cut through. Okay. And I just cut my Post-it note, but that's okay, because it doesn't matter. Okay. So what we're going to do next is you're going to miter across on this bottom corner. And then on the top, it's going to be fairly deep to get those other corners matted. And what's going to happen is this is going to go on the page like this. Okay. I've done that on a couple of other albums, at least one other that I can think of. And it just looks kind of neat. So that's what we're going to do here. All right. And then on the back side of that, we just have a little trifold. So this is 12 by 6. I actually cut about 1/16 of an inch off the edge so that when this side folds in, it's not going to run in on the other side. But you're going to score this at 4 inches and 8 inches. And that's actually going to go on the back of this flap. And then the very, very back inside, there will be a pocket of some kind, but my original version of this was a gift for Tamara when she opened the store. And I didn't love how the pocket came out in that one on that back page. So I am going to do something just a little bit differently. I just have not decided yet what that is. So we're going to leave that for just a minute. We're going to bring our base back in. Okay. So if I reverse my stack here, okay, the waterfall is going to go over here. However, we need to mat that first. So I'm going to set my waterfall pieces aside. Okay. The box pocket over here, we are also going to wait for a minute because we don't want to get that smashed. So this is going to be one of the last things we put in. So I'm going to add that to the pile with the waterfall. Okay. So actually I should not have reversed the pile because, okay, trifold, can't do anything yet. This page base, we can go ahead and, no, we can't. Hold on, I have to think for a second. It's been a while. Okay, no, we didn't need to reverse the pile. So your base that is 9 3/4 by 9, we're going to go ahead and put in. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold and burnish my 1/2 inch. I am not going to do my gusset yet because I don't want to mistake the gusset for where I need to glue this down. Okay. So this, yeah, I'm doing this right. Sorry, I had to think for a second again. I was like, wait a minute. It's been a while. Okay. So I am going to stand this up to make sure that I'm not getting too close. Okay. So I'm going to line it up top to bottom. I'm going to stand this up and then push this over just a little bit because I don't want it to be too close to that spine. Okay. I'm trying to remember if the belly band is on the top or is it on the back side? I want to say it's on the back side. Okay, so we've got that end. I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish my belly band. And I mean, you absolutely could put it on the top. Like I said, I honestly don't remember for sure how I did it. In fact, I think I am going to put it on the top because, yes, I am going to put it on the top. So let me get this off. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and fold over my gusset now. Mostly so when I center this up, it's actually folded all the way it's supposed to be. And then I can go ahead and put my belly band on. And because it runs the full length of the page, we don't have to worry about matting this one first because it will run the entire length of the page and we can slide our paper underneath that. Okay, I'm also going to take my insert, fold and burnish that, and then I can just slide it underneath there just so I don't lose it or think it's a scrap and cut into it, because I've done that before too. All right, so next up we're going to take our little page base that has the diagonal pocket on it. We're actually going to put the pocket on before we put this in the book. Okay, so let me get my sticky note off of that. So I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish. And when you fold these over, you want to make sure, which actually, you know what, it doesn't matter because it's going to get matted. So I was going to say make sure that that isn't sticking out, but you're going to mat underneath it. And the way this goes down, you're just going to be able to slide that paper in. So really, it's not going to matter that much, except it's going to bother me just in case. Okay, so I'm going to do the bottom. And that is going to go flush to the bottom of that page. And then I'll do the side. Okay, like so. And we'll do the other side. See that one? Yeah, I didn't miter that one enough. You can see. And again, I'm going to do glue on one side and get it lined up where I want it. It's going to be out here on the edge. And in like so. Okay. So now we can fold the first score line, not the 1/8 inch score line, just that 1/2 inch. Get our glue on here. And then go ahead and put this one down. And I'm going to center this on the page. I'll give that a second to dry, and then I'll push it back to pop that second score line into place. Okay. But I want to give it a second to dry before I do that so we don't accidentally pull it up. All right, so then our pocket flap. Okay, so let's go ahead and miter. And then on the pocket itself, we're going to miter. And you'll notice we didn't have a tab on the bottom, and that's because I don't want this to like pooch out, I guess. And when it's shorter pockets like this, and you do that on the bottom, they tend to kind of pooch out a little bit. Okay, so this is going to go in and flip this direction. So they're like super sticky. I'm going to go ahead and get one side of my pocket. I'm going to put it down next to my score line. Make sure we're lined up across the bottom, nice and straight. Make sure we're not dangling off the edge. I am by like a hair, but you know what, it's fine. And then do a little line across the bottom. And lay that down. Okay. Because see, then that pocket's not going to pooch out. Because if we had that like tab along the bottom, it would literally like try to, you know, pooch out like this. And we on something this small, that's why I don't do that. Okay. So now we're going to fold our first score line again. Get glue on here. And again, put it down. Make sure we're not too far over. And then we can fold that second score line. So we've got our gusset. Okay. So now that one's had a chance to really set, that we can go ahead and just push this back to pop that 1/8 of an inch score line over. Okay, so that one will be on the bottom, this will go, and this will go. And then our pocket flap is going to be on the top. So let's work on that piece next. Okay, so for the frame, we're going to try something a little bit different here. So I'm going to put this back in my scoreboard. And I'm going to go from my score line 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so I'm at 1/2 inch there. And I'm going to lightly score down to that next line. Okay, I'm going to turn it again. And this time I'm at the top where there is not a score line. So I'm going to start again at 5/8. I'm just going to lightly score. Okay, turn again, and we're going to start at 1/2 inch and go over 5/8, so 1 1/8. Score again, and then again 1 1/8. So you can see there just barely where we've got those lines. That's where our frame is going to get cut out. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, and this is where I love the Fiskars trimmer because of that little guide wire. I'm actually going to start with the flat end, totally flat one on the bottom. So I'm lining that wire up over that line we just scored. And I'm lining my blade up to start where those lines intersect. And I am just going to go up until I get to that next line, which is right there. Okay, and we've cut one side. Again, oops, get back in there. I'm going to line up. Oh, I'm at the top. I was like, why is it so far up there? Because it's the top of the thing and it's supposed to be. And again, I'm going to come over to where that line started. And I'm going to go down to where our second line is again here. Okay. And again, this in here, we're going to line it up. Get to our start point. And go over until we reach our line we already cut. And last one. Now, all of this being said, if you are more comfortable doing this with a craft knife, by all means, do that. If you're more comfortable drawing, you know, measuring in and drawing your line and then cutting it with the craft knife or cutting it with the trimmer, again, it's entirely up to you. But that actually worked really well without having pencil lines that I then have to worry about them showing at some point through the project. So The acetate is big enough that it's going to kind of go almost edge to edge. Actually, I think I want to take just a tiny bit more off of this. It ended up being a little bit bigger than I thought. So I'm going to take about 1/8 of an inch off of the acetate on 2 sides. Because otherwise it's not quite what I wanted. Okay. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to go around the outside edge with score tape. Oh, out of score tape. Let me grab another one. Okay. Okay, so again, we're just going along the edge. Okay. Get that piece off of there. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take just a little bit of rubbing alcohol and kind of wipe this down, since when we put this onto our flap, it's going to be on the inside. It'll be much harder to clean off at that point. This outside that's still got a little bit of stuff on it will be fine until we get this actually almost done. So I'm just going to center it up on there, kind of lay my arm across to hold it still, get one corner started and folded out, and the other corner started and folded out. And then we can just pull that out, burnish it down, burnish it down. And then continue on around. That would be way easier. Start at the end, you can still lift up. Haha! Imagine that. Clearly I have not had enough coffee yet this morning. Okay. Okay. So that's down. I'm going to grab our, not our insert, our base. Take my note off of it. I'm going to go ahead and fold my sides in. All right, so the flap itself is going to flip up, okay? So I want to make sure this is going to fit before I start gluing, and we are good. So I'm just going to start at the bottom. Line it up, edge to edge. Burnish that down. I am going to go over this one more time with the alcohol, just in case. And then can go ahead and glue down the sides. Except for right there where I got glue that I do not want. Okay. So then up, glue it down, and then we can get the front, which we'll end up doing this again before we start decorating it, but just to get like the stuff that tends to decide to attach itself. And then I'm going to go ahead and drop my insert in here so that I don't misplace it, like so, and then grab the book, get our pages flipped open, and then I'm going to turn it upside down so that I can put this in. Okay, so I'm going to fold my 1/2 inch flap first. Get glue on that tab. I am going to line this up in the center. Somehow I am slightly over on that side, but it's okay because this one goes on top, so it will be fine. Not happy about it, but it looks like it was just slightly crooked, but that's okay. All right, and then we can fold. Ooh, that's just the insert. I was like, what did I just do? It's okay. Fold that over and burnish it down, and then we can close all of these things back up, and then that sits on top. And let me figure out what we're doing on the bottom there, and I will be right back. Okay, so we're just going to do some stacked pockets. Like I said, what I had done on the original album I wasn't thrilled with, so I've got a piece that is 5 by 9.5. We're going to score this at 1/2 inch on each end. And then I've got a piece that is 3 by 9.5, and we're going to score that as well at 1/2 inch on each end. And I'm going to go ahead and miter. Okay, I'm going to start with my small one. And I'm going to go ahead and put that down on top of the bigger pocket. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one that I did with the flap one that we're just going to do glue along the bottom rather than making a little tab piece on the bottom. We're going to line that up. Okay. And then I can take these two and burnish them down and do the exact same thing. Oops. Oh, we split to the glue. That's how everything comes to a screeching halt. Okay. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with it. And it's not as wide as I thought it was going to be, so I'm actually going to pull that back up, and I'm going to mat this underneath here before I actually put that down, because for some reason I literally just measured this and came up with 8.5, which clearly is not correct. So that's assembled, ready to go in once that's matted. So let me get the matting for that, this, and this, and we can put the last of our elements in. Okay, so I've got the matting down where I need to mat stuff before we put stuff down. So I'm going to go ahead and get our pocket on here. And since it's got a little bit of a gap, not a gap, like there's going to be a little bit of a border on the sides, I'm going to slide it up so I get that same little border around the bottom. Okay, so that one's good. I've got our little flip. And one thing you're going to want to do on this, you know, after you've scored it and folded it, make sure that it folds flat. And if you need to trim a little bit off that inside edge, figure that out before you put it down. Make things much, much easier. And, oh, that's what I was looking for. And I got sidetracked. With some ribbon that could go around this. So I am going to put some ribbon around this to tie it closed before I put it down. So for now, I'm going to just set that to the side because I don't know where my ribbon for that went. And then let's go ahead and do our waterfall as soon as I figure out where I put the pieces to the waterfall. Okay. All right. So the waterfall pieces, I'm going to go ahead and waterfalls, we don't miter. And I'm almost wondering if the last time I made this one, if I did a base piece for this one instead of, I think I did. So actually that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've got the pieces here, and I think I am going to make a base that we're going to put this together on that we can then put down, because then I can do a ribbon closure on this one as well. So what I'm going to do is I need to figure out for sure how big that needs to be. And that doesn't seem right. Actually, that might be what my problem is. Okay, so those are 5. Okay, so it'll be 7 by 7. We only needed 5 of those. I knew there was something that I had it completely out of whack, and I couldn't remember what it was. Okay, so 7 by 7, and actually this was the piece I cut out of the center of our frame. So that will make that easy as well. So all I'm going to do is build this on top of this piece, and then I can do my ribbon and then put the whole thing down. And then 2, I can decide which way I want it to go without gluing it down and going, oh, I should have gone the other direction. Because I don't know about you guys, but I do that a lot. Okay, so. Okay. That, and the last one. Oops. Okay, and there is our waterfall, so I can decide if it's going to go this way or this way, and I really don't know. Probably that way. Okay, so I need to find my ribbon that's going to go on those, and the only thing else we still have to do is our box pocket that's going over here. So I've got those pieces right here. I do want to mat these before I put them in the book so that I don't have to worry about squashing them when they go in. So this is going to be 8 3/4 by 7. Does that not sound right to me for some reason? Oh, we're good. Okay. So 8 3/4 by 7. So I just need to figure out which page I'm doing right there. I think I had one in mind for this. Now I can't find it. Let's do that one. Okay, so what did I say? 8 3/4 by 6 7/8. So I'm gonna cut the 6 7/8 first, and then the 8 3/4. And go ahead and get that down on here. Okay. The flap is easy enough that we can do that without too much hassle. What is my sizing on this one? 4 5/8. I have a piece over here. Actually, I can just do that one. So let's go ahead and do that piece of it too. And what did I just say? 4 7/8, 4 5/8. So I ended up with a new Fiskars trimmer, and for whatever reason the deck on this is like super sticky, which is nice. But when I'm trying to get the paper positioned, it is not nice. Okay. So this one, I am going to go ahead and do like so, because that back side you'll be able to fold it out so it lays flat to mat that back piece. So I'm not too worried about that just yet. Other than I just forgot a closure on this. But that's okay. So again, I think I'm just going to do a ribbon closure. I can attach it on the back here and then do something to wind it around on the pocket itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my flap down. Okay, why are we clogged? You were fine just a second ago. Of course. Okay. We're going to put this all the way to this outside edge. And that will be okay. And then grab our base. Okay, so I'm going to fold in my sides. Okay. I'm going to fold in those two little tabs on the bottom and then fold up the bottom as well. Okay. So we are going to start with the bottom. Okay. And if it helps to fold that side in so that you get this on this outside edge and along the bottom, by all means do that. Okay. Okay, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get just a little bit of glue on those two tabs. I'm just standing this up, folding those in, and pinching that down. Okay. Then I can lay this down. Okay. So I'm going to stand this up. I'm not, just kidding. I'm going to turn it so I can see what I'm doing. And I am just going to get glue literally everywhere. Holy crap. Okay. And then fold those in and down. On the side, it's going to go right out to that edge. On the other side, it's not quite all the way to the edge, of course, because you don't want it all the way to the edge so that your book will shut. And so if you need to push it in a little bit further on this side, you can. But it should fit in there fairly well and fairly evenly. And then I just slide my bone folder down inside to make sure those sides are burnished down. Okay, then we can fold this over, and there's our pocket. Okay, that of course closes in like that, and then it closes up and sits perfectly flat. Okay, I am going to go ahead and find my ribbon for these pieces. Figure out how I'm going to do the closure there. I may end up sticking a magnet here and then using an embellishment to hide the magnet on the other side. I don't know yet. And of course then get in here. And once this is matted, that will not keep sliding out of that pocket. But for right now, because there's no matting, that insert does not want to stay put. That's okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get matting together, find my ribbon that I need to find, and get to decorating. There we go. I'll be back. Okay, so before I get any further and I get into the decorating and all that kind of thing, I just wanted to kind of show you where I'm at. So the waterfall over here, you'll remember we put it on a base and I only used 4 of the flaps. So I had that extra flap left. So what I did is I added an 1/8 of an inch score line. So it was scored, it was 5.5 by 7, scored at 1/2 inch. I did a second score line at 5/8, attached it to the back of that base piece for our waterfall and made it into a little closure. And quite honestly, I like how this turned out way better than my original plan. Part of that was I couldn't find ribbon that I really liked that I wanted to use right here. I found ribbon for my other thing, and I have my ribbon closure here. I'll just stuff out of my stash, but I wasn't loving any of my options to do it just as a waterfall with a ribbon closure, so I ended up doing that instead. I've got one of the 6x6 prints on here. That little cut apart is going to go on there. So at this point, I am down to all of these scraps, 2 full sheets because I can't decide which side of this one I want to use. This one, the other side is cut aparts, but I'm going to end up needing this side somewhere and I'm not sure where. And then I've still got the majority of my petite prints left because I did find them. I just didn't find them when I had the camera going. So we're just going to kind of walk through really quickly here. So we've got our waterfall over here. That cut apart's going to go on there somehow. we'll do a photo mat here because I also still have the solids. So I can either do my photo mats with petite prints, or I've got, you know, the matching solids I can do those with. We've got the big pocket here, and on this one I did do some piecing on here just because, I don't know, I kind of liked it. It just was kind of fun. And where it's the inside of the pocket, it's not like every time you open the album you're going, oh, look at this weird piecing. It's fine. I did end up adding a magnet here as well. And honestly, so the magnet is actually on the inside of the pocket because nobody's ever going to see it. So I do still want to mat the back of my insert here. I did use a little piece of ribbon on this just to, you know, have something to grab onto. I'm going to do some scene building with the odds and ends here, and I will record that and probably just put it on fast forward because it's not a fast process. And I'm not about to do it like in real time because it takes forever. Not forever. It takes a while. Okay. So we can do a photo mat here. I'll end up either using I'm not sure if I'm going to end up using some of this because I still haven't put anything on my cover. And the reason I've kind of held off on that is because I want to see what I end up using as far as the odds and ends and things inside to determine what I'm going to use on the, and then determine what I'm going to use on the outside. And then I will figure out which one of these I'm going to do. Okay. So we've got the insert there, the belly band. We've got just a nice big spot here that I can do some photo mats on. We've got a little pocket here. This I ended up kind of piecing as well because I wanted that border strip, but I wanted the seashells, so there we go. I did use the 6x6 here with the little sailboats for either side of my pocket there. On this one, this was where I did find ribbon that I liked. I did just mat the front of this, and I'm going to leave the inside unmatted so that when pictures get in there, it's not going to be too bulky. So I am going to leave that as is, and that was just one of the cut aparts, and then one of the border strips just cut down to border the cut apart. Oh my god, did I really just say that? Okay. And then of course we've got the stack pockets on the back here, and I'll end up doing something with the chit chat, I'm sure, down here. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So I am going to go ahead and sort my odds and ends, and I don't know where my trays are. Oh my gosh, oh, I moved them. It's because I cleaned. See, that's why I don't clean your craft room. You can't find things. Alright. Not to mention, I've got all kinds of stuff for this. And I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use and which ones I'm not. So I have doodle pops that may end up going somewhere. I have jewels. I have shape sprinkles. I have the mini icons. I have the regular icons. I've got those shape sprinkles. I've got, of course, the odds and ends and chit chat and the bits and pieces, which the bits and pieces, we've got a ton of palm trees and flowers. So we will be making use of those. And then we've got the puffy icons, which I love these. I seriously just want to get out my sticker book from grade school and put these in it because I love them. But I'm getting sidetracked. So let's move this stuff out of the way. The bits and pieces, there's not as many pieces, usually bits and pieces. This one actually has 79 pieces, which is a lot. These I don't usually sort because these are a little bit more straightforward. So like we've got some little tags, we've got some tabs, which actually I forgot there were tabs in here. I would have used that on my insert on that frame, but that's okay. The little notebook pieces, just some different little badges and things. And then this one has a whole bunch of like leaves and flowers and palm trees, which I absolutely adore. So I'm going to set that one aside. We're going to start with the odds and ends. And actually, no, I'm going to start with chit chat. So I've got my bigger tray. And there are 93 pieces of Chit Chat, which there's no way I'm going to use all of these. And that's the thing, is you can take all of these scraps once the entire book's done and the Chit Chat and make cards. Like, seriously, how cute is that? That's probably what's going to go on that stacked pocket on the inside. Cute little banners here. So I'm just going to sort out my words. I can pick them up. Actually, let me fold that up so it's kind of out of the way. All right. That's not going to work. Let's move it. Ha, there we go. That's better. All right, so we're going to put words there. I'm going to get all of these little speech bubbles kind of gathered up. Oh my God, there's fish. How did I not remember there's fish in here? Look at those fish. Those are so cute. Okay, so we're going to put the fish there. That goes with the words. I'm going to put the banner in the same little compartment too. And I'm going to put that one over there. I'm going to start with, put those together too. Oh my God, these fish are killing me. They're so cute. I don't know what to do with them. They may end up on top of that nice big window pocket. Okay. So when it comes to the actual little phrases and things, there's the little banner style like that I will put all together. There's the longer, skinnier ones that I will also put together. And then there's this other little, this is really more the banner style. Those are more like kind of a flag thing. So I just will sort those so that all the, you know, like shapes essentially are together. We've got all these cute little circle ones, like coins almost, that I'm going to put together. And then we've got the little tags, little flags that is, that I'll put together as well. And then we've got the adorable little stamps. And then we've got one more little like flag style word here. Okay. Let's see, I don't know that I like this tray as well as my other one that I usually use, but that's okay. So what you can do in this case, because there's a lot of these in here, I can tell just as I'm going through these, they're not ones that I would use in an album, but I would use them on cards and that kind of thing. So what you can do if you want, and I do, this is something I actually do occasionally, is I will kind of go through. So like when I'm looking at these three. Okay, So Happy Together, I might use in an album. Thinking of You, I'm not going to. So I'm going to set that one aside because I'm just going to stick it back in the bag because it's not one I would even consider using in an album. So like Hello, I actually might use. Good Times, yes. Beach Boy, yes. Cute stamp. Here Comes the Sun is one I would potentially use. Another Day in Paradise. And honestly, I've got cute pictures from when we went on the Disney cruise the last couple of times. Okay, Enjoying Cool Ocean Breeze, This Is the Life, You're My Sunshine are all ones I would potentially use in an album. And it's going to vary collection by collection as far as how many of these more like card specific ones are in there. So like Barefoot in the Sand, Let's Celebrate, I'm probably not going to use. Perfect Day, Just For You, I'm not going to use. Fun in the Sun is a good one. Wish You Were Here, I might use in this one. Sand in My Toes, This Is Paradise, I'm not going to use Happy Birthday. I'm not going to use Lake Life. Girls Just Want to Have Sun, maybe. And again, there's another Happy Birthday. Here Comes the Sun. Life is Sweet, Let the Fun Begin. Hello There. And I actually did make a bunch of cards with this stuff. So there's another big one we can do there. And it does say hello, but we could always put something over that if it's something that you don't think you're going to ultimately want to use. So this one we have Beach Boy, Good Times. What was the other one? Hello. Oh, I already talked about those, didn't I? Beach Beauty, Sunny Day, My Mermaid. Yeah, I'll leave it in there, even though, assuming I might actually put pictures in this someday, I would not need that one. We've got some more of those little coin pieces and bigger words. Good vibes. More little fish. Oh my god, I love the fish. Okay, and then I'm down to my little speech bubbles. So Sweet Life I will leave. Little heart, Fun in the Sun, thank you, I don't need. H2O, I need vitamin C. Surf's Up, Salt, Sand, High. Love this. Happy Hour, having a fantastic time, yay, and Water Baby I will leave all together. Okay, so those are sorted. For my odds and ends, I'm actually going to go back to my other tray method that I honestly prefer over the divided trays. Partially because the finish on these In-N-Out burger trays, like, just makes it really easy for these to stand up. They don't slide around as easily. Okay. So here, this is much easier because we've got little beach houses, we've got a lighthouse, we've got whale watching, and we've got little ocean creatures. So ocean creatures are all going to go together. Little tiny fish are going to go together. Little crabs and things like that. Seashells are all going to go together. Birds I'm going to put with little crab people. Other just little beachy things, I'm going to do that. Okay. Beach ball. Pool floaties. Sunshines I'm going to keep together. Tiki hut. Little boat. Little dolphin. Then we've got some little vehicles and things. All the little beach huts on this one absolutely killed me. And then we've got food trucks. I mean, come on, how cute is that? Okay, so tennis racket, towels, another little boat. We've got a jellyfish. We've got flamingos. I'm gonna start a pile for those. I'm gonna put the coral with the ocean creatures, actually. Oh my gosh, look at the little waves. Cute is that? I don't know where to group those, honestly. Blowfish. There's a little buoy. Okay, we're gonna put that actually with the lighthouse and with the boats, because that makes sense in my head. We've got seashells, we've got a little anchor, got a little sea urchin, seashells, fish, bird. No, seashell. Drop the fish. More fish. Flip-flops are gonna go in that pile. Fish, sand dollar, seashell. Little badminton thingy. Sunblock, seashell, bird, fish. Seashell, swim trunks, surfboard, life jacket, a life preserver that is. Another cute little lighthouse, another cute little palm tree, and a boat and a jet ski, and another. And the little buoys. Oh my gosh, the little buoys are adorable. And we've got a little gelato thing. We've got another little beach house and a little vehicle. And it's just, there's so many elements and things that I would not have thought that I would want, And then as you go through here, you go, oh my gosh, that's perfect. I can use this for, you know, whatever it may be. Okay, I'm going to put that one with that. And little beach houses and beach houses. And a little bikini. We've got some more little waves. And then fish, fish, squid, drink, fish, seashell. Okay, that didn't take very long. If you, of course, wanted to get a little more crazy with the separating, you absolutely can. If you're newer to using Doodlebug and working with all the little pieces and parts like this, honestly, it's probably best if you do get a little more finite in the sorting. We'll just make it a little bit easier on you. Okay, so little vehicles. I think I'm going to put the food truck with the vehicle. I'm going to put that little sign just kind of there. And the little sunshines are going to kind of go like that. And I've got my ocean creatures, my land, 157 fish. No, not really. Just feels like it. And my seashells ready to go. And so then I can start scene building.